Hi guys, today I'm going to be doing my January wrap-ups of my February 2 rereads, so let's just get into it. So the first book that I read at the very beginning of January is A Beautiful Wedding by Jamie McGuire, and that's the sequel to, what is it called? The Walking Disaster, and then the first book in the series is called Beautiful Disaster. So I highly recommend this series because it's very intense and very, I guess romantic. Like, it has good, gives you lots of feels. And the last book, which I just mentioned, The Beautiful Wedding, it is a novella, I think, because it's really small, and I think it wrapped up everything really nicely because at the end of Walking Disaster, it wasn't like a cliffhanger or anything, but it was just very like, maybe it was a little bit of cliffhanger, but anyways, either way, it ended very nicely, so I would give it a 4 out of 5. By the way, if I don't have these books with me right now, it's because they're either on my Kindle or I'm lending it out to my friends. So anyways, moving on. The next book I read is Shadow and Bone by Leigh Bardugo. I don't have this book right now with me because I lent it out to my cousin, but it's the first book in the Grisha trilogy, and I guess it's considered a sci-fi, no, not a sci-fi, a fantasy novel kind of, and it's like kind of historical too, I guess. I don't know, mix of both. But anyways, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a great book, so I give it a 5 out of 5 stars, and I highly recommend you guys read this. The next book that I read is The Perfect Game by Jay Sterling, and this is also part of a series, but I don't think I'm going to continue reading the rest of the series, and I'll tell you why in a sec. But first, I saw this on Amazon, and I think it was really cheap. It was like $2.99 or something. It was like some daily deal, I think, and so I decided to get it, to try it out. Why not? Because it had really good reviews on Goodreads and Amazon. So overall, I enjoyed it. It was very, it was like one of those typical, I don't know if typical, but yeah, kind of. It's like the typical, like, super angsty and, like, intense romantic books. I don't know if you guys understand what I'm trying to say, but there are, like, a lot of books like that out there. I can't think of them off the top of my head right now, but, if you give me time, I can come up with a list. But, yeah, anyways, so overall, I enjoyed it, which is why I'm giving it a 4 out of 5 stars, but I don't think I'm going to keep reading because I didn't think it was anything super special or unique, Some of the times I could I could predict what the characters are going to say or what was going to happen, And sometimes, to be honest, I think these type of books, like the reactions of the characters are kind of like over the top sometimes, or I think to myself that this would never happen in real life. But hey, I may be totally wrong about this. I'm sure there are people who do act and react like this. I don't know. Hopefully, I don't know if you guys understand what I'm saying, but anyways, yeah, so I mean, if you're interested, you should definitely give it a try. But just a warning, FYI, this has mature content on it, so So if you don't like those kind of books, don't read it. But other than that, if you're fine with that, then yeah, give it a try if you're interested. Next, I read Unteachable by Leah Reader. I'm not sure how to pronounce her last name, but again, this is the one I read on a Kindle, and I thought it was very enjoyable overall. I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars, and again, this one is about a teacher-student relationship, and again, I feel like it's just one of those like intense, like romantic books. So if you're into that kind of stuff, I would suggest it. But again, just another warning, it has mature content, really mature content, so if you're not into that, don't read it, but if not, then go ahead. The next 3 books that I read are all part of the same series, and that is the Love Me With Lies series by Taryn Fisher. So the first book is called The Opportunist, the second one is Dirty Red, and the last one I believe is Thief, and I gave all of them 4 out of 5 stars, and it's a very enjoyable series. It's very intense, and at some parts I was thinking to myself, like, wow, I can't believe this is happening, or I can't believe she's doing this, she's crazy. If you guys have already read the series, then you know what I'm talking about, but if not, it's very intense, and I highly recommend that you read it. But just a warning, I believe this has mature content in it too, so again, there's a warning, so if you want to read it, cool. If not, that's cool too. One of my favorite books that I read so far this year is Ready Player One by Ernest Cline. I don't have this book with me right now because I lent it out to my cousin, but it's an adult book, and I think it's dystopian. I guess it could be considered dystopian, but I heard a lot about this through BookTube and on Goodreads, and so I decided to finally pick it up and read it, and I'm so glad I did because it is so good. It's about a video game player and this like contest, and it's very intense and it's very enjoyable, and if you don't like video games or you're not a video game player or anything like that, you're still gonna really enjoy this book. Like, I'm not a huge video game player. Like, I play like Xbox and I don't know, other games occasionally, but even if you don't play any games, you'll still really enjoy it because it's very it just keeps you on your on your toes all the time, and it's really good. So I give this book a 5 out of 5 stars. So I definitely recommend you read this. If you don't read any books at all this year, or I mean, if you read very few books this year, this should be one of the few books that you read. Next, I read Dash and Lily's book Adairs by Rachel Cohn and David Levithan. I think that's how you pronounce his name. But this is a very thin book, so it's a pretty quick read, and it was very enjoyable. It was one of those like feel-good, I don't know, happy, quick reads. And I picked this over winter break, and I read it, I think, during the beginning of January while I was still on my break. And so yeah, I really enjoyed it. It was a cool, quirky kind of read, and so I give this a 4 out of 5 stars. Another one of my favorites this year so far is The Book Thief by Mark Zusak. I finally decided to read this book after like years, because I've always heard people talk about it and how good it is, but I never really was interested into it. I don't really know why, it just didn't seem to appeal to me, but I finally decided to pick it up because the movie came out like a few months ago, and so I really want to watch it. And so I finally finished reading this book, and I really enjoyed it. I give it a 5 out of 5 stars, and I recommend everyone should read it. And finally, the last book that I read in January is Cinder by Marissa Meyer, and this is part of the Lunar Chronicle series, and it is dystopian, and it's about this girl. It's based on the Cinderella like fairy tale, but obviously retold in a totally different way. And it's based on this girl named Cinder, who is a cyborg, like part human, part cyborg, and a lot of action and interesting stuff occurs. And this is like one of the really popular series. I was kind of late to start reading it, but I finally started reading it, and so I'm really glad I did. Ugh. Wow, that was attractive. And anyways, what I was saying? Oh yeah. So yeah, this is a really good book and series, so you guys should definitely start reading it. And yeah, that's the end of my January wrap-ups. So now moving on to my February to be read. Speaking of the Lunar Chronicle series, what I'm going to be reading next is Crest, which is the 3rd book in this series, and it just came out today. If you can tell or figure out by now, I'm filming this on the 4th, so it just came out today, and I'm super excited. Look how big it is. It's going to be good. I got this at Target today. I picked it up right after my class, and they actually didn't have it out on the shelves yet, so I asked an employee, and I was like, do you guys have this book? It says you do, because I checked online before I went to Target. And so the person looked it up, and they went in the back, and I guess they had it in the back, so I guess they hadn't put it out yet. But anyways, I'm super excited that I got this, and I'm going to start reading this as soon as possible. After I finish reading Crest, I'm going to read Siege and Storm, which is the 2nd book in the Grisha trilogy after Shadow and Bone. Again, I'm really excited for this book, so I think it's going to be good just like the first one. These next 2 books that I'm planning to read are in the same series. So the first one is The Archive by Victoria Schwab, and the second book, which I don't have with me right now, is The Unbound, because it just came out, I believe, today, because I pre-ordered it on Amazon, and I just got an email notification saying that it was shipping. So I saw this from Jesse the Reader, because he talks about it a lot and he really enjoys it, so I thought I'd give it a try, so hopefully I'll enjoy it. Next, these books are also part of a series, and the first one is Throne of Glass, and the second one is Crown of Midnight by Sarah J. Maas. And again, I heard a lot about this on BookTube, and people seem to really enjoy it. It has really good ratings, and this is like a fantasy, I believe, and it's about a girl who's an assassin. And I debated on getting the hardcover of the first book, but then it's like a completely different like cover. It's like not the same. You can't, because the first one in hardcover, it's like of this girl, like her face with her like kind of like turned to the side, and so it's completely unlike the second book. And so I decided to get the paperback with the same cover in it. Wow, what am I doing? And yeah, so I think I'll really enjoy these because a lot of people have been saying that it's good, so yeah. So the next book is The Fifth Waiver by Rick Yancey, and it's another one of these popular books that I've heard lots of people talk about on BookTube, so I decided to give this a try. And I know the sequel comes out sometime this year. I don't know what month, but I just know it's this year. And my sister actually read this, and she said she didn't really like it, so I don't know. Hopefully I'll like it, but we'll see how it goes. The next book that I want to read is Alienated by Melissa Landers, and this again is another book that I pre-ordered on Amazon because I think it just got released today, and so I got another email shipping confirmation thing, and so hopefully it'll come within the week. And this is, as you can probably tell from the title, it's about an alien. It's between this guy and a girl, so I think the guy is the alien, but I may be totally wrong. You can look it up for yourself. But it seems really interesting. It has some good reviews already, so I thought I'd try it out. And one cool thing that the author was doing, she was doing this like little promo thingy for like swag. I don't like calling it that, but I don't know what else to call it. And so basically, like, if you pre-ordered her book and then you sent her a little email about it letting her know, she would like autograph a book plate which I had no idea what a book plate is, but I guess it looks something like this. Like she could customize it or she could just sign it. I had to customize it, so I'll show you like up close. And then 2 bookmarks. I'm using one already in a book, so here's the other one. And it's pretty. Like the cover is pretty, so yeah. So there you have it. Those are my books that I'm planning to read in February. Hopefully I'll be able to read all of them. I don't know how much time I'll have, but hopefully I can read all of them, and if not, at least like the ones that I mentioned like the beginning, because those are like the ones I'm really looking forward to. And if even better, if I have more time, then I'll definitely read more, so we'll see if I'll have time or not. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching.